and Ryan Day doesn't like it. The proposal is a one-time transfer portal, I was going to say window, that starts January 2nd, which is the day after the quarterfinal games in this year's playoff, lasts for 10 days, and having no spring portal. Ryan Day doesn't like it. We'll explain why he doesn't like it as we bring in Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. Sir, how are you?
I'm well.
Good.
We're moving through the internet tubes a little slowly, it seems, but if you've got me loud and clear, then we are connected because I hear you.
You sound wonderful. All right.
Excellent.
Now, Ryan Day doesn't like the proposal. I don't like his reasoning why he doesn't like the proposal because, when you're always in the playoffs, and Ohio State will always be in the playoffs, although Alabama probably thought that going in last year. When you're always in the playoff, well, it gets in the way of preparing for playoff games. I remember Nick Saban complaining that the recruiting period started while they were still playing in BC, I guess it was BCS playoff games, whatever it was, college football playoff games. So he was a week late getting on the road recruiting, and he was so mad about that. But they didn't change it because of Nick. So what's Ryan Day's point, and what do you think ultimately is going to happen there?
That would have been great for Ryan Day to voice that displeasure at the American Football Coaches Association conference where, Adam, it was a unanimous support of the single portal proposal that has continued to move forward. Again,
right.
The American Football Coaches Association is in lockstep on this proposal of a single transfer portal window and having it be not starting December 20th,
right,
but having it start January 2nd, where, according to the current college football playoff calendar, would only leave teams in the semifinals, Adam. How arrogant of Ryan Day to assume that he's still going to be playing football on January 2nd, to assume that the Buckeyes are not just going to be a playoff team, but on into the semifinals every single year.
Yeah.
You know what? You know who's not a fan of this? Players. You know who is a fan of this? The attorneys for players that are going to sue into oblivion that you can't restrict access. Transfer portal might be on life support. We just might have rolling enrollees at this point.
The only way to stop it is to just say, look, once you've started the season with a school, you are ineligible to play at another school until the next season.
Yep, 100%.
That's a simple rule.
You'd think, but even that, we are just trying to prevent somebody leaving one program, going to another in the middle of the season. So that would at least be some kind of guardrails here. I will say, going back to conversations that were at the AFCA convention, I like the one portal. I like the timing of the one portal. I like the fact that there is a single unified portal window. Again, I don't think it will stand. And if we wanted to adjust it again, I would prefer that portal window 1 is the time period that they have identified. Portal window 2 is somewhere similar to where it is now. Because what I am very, very much against is the current portal window taking place at a time when players and coaches and schools are trying to, all at the same time, number one, lock down an early signing period high school recruiting class. And I understand that for every portal king there is out there, there are programs that are still developmental programs. Shocking, I know, but there are still developmental programs in college football, and that requires being able to solidify your high school recruiting class. While at the same time, you're dealing with the more robust transfer portal because the winter is more robust than the spring. At the same time, you are trying to manage hiring a new staff.
Yeah.
Because you've got the assistant coaches that are all changing at this time. You've got a head coaching carousel that's spinning because those schools want to have coaches in place to lock down transfer portal and high school recruiting classes. And oh yeah, let's say that your alumni are fired up because you are going down to Jacksonville for the Gator Bowl, right? And you don't want to embarrass your alumni that have just spent all this money renting out these suites, those mega boosters that are going to wear your school colors all around. Let's see,
Duval.
Yeah, Duval, Jacksonville, all around Jacksonville. Like you've got to do bowl prep, high school recruiting, transfer recruiting, hiring a staff, all at the same. Oh, and by the way, it does not matter your creed, your color, or your religion. There's some holidays around there too. So if your family wants to spend any time with you around any of these December holidays, all of that is crazy to me. So I think that pushing back the transfer portal until January 2nd, where everything is in the books for the season, except for the semifinals and the national championship game, I like the timing.
Yeah.
I fear that trying to uphold anything that restricts player access, which going from 2 portals to 1 portal and having it only be 10 days is restricting player access. I think that that's going to have a tough time holding up in court.
Ryan Day actually said that all the Big Ten coaches were on board with him, and I don't believe that's true. How long, this is because I don't know the answer to this question, how long do players have to make their decision about where they're going to go? There's a 10-day window to enter the portal. How long do they get to make their decisions about when they, where they're going to go? Is it indefinite? How long do they have?
Enrollment for classes, being an eligible student.
So who cares? Like, it could be 1,000 players in the portal, and frankly, there probably will. So Ohio State's got time. It's only about players entering. Even more reason to give Ryan Day the shut up about this.
Yeah, I think that there is something to be said for wanting to have an idea of who's leaving your program before you start spring practice. Those stories do kind of break my heart a little bit. The coaches who go into spring practice, they put in the work. Then the spring portal opens and we lost 7 starters. And we don't see it a lot at the power conference level, but geez, you certainly see it at the group of 5 level because somebody gets hurt at a power conference team and they just decide to go shopping. And I know that tampering doesn't exist, right? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my God. Tampering's always existed, but it's probably more prevalent now because there's so much more freedom of movement. Matt Rule canceled the spring game because he didn't want schools recruiting off of Nebraska's spring game. That's what he said, and they canceled the game. And he kind of started a little bit of a trend in that. Where there's a lot of schools that decide. I don't think NC State played a spring game, right?
I think, yeah. I mean, I'm very much out on canceling spring games.
I think it's terrible. It's a dumb idea.
Player personnel departments do not recruit off your spring game. They recruit off your roster and the wealth of tape that those players have put up already. So, I mean, height, weight, speed, game film. We don't with all the money that is being spent on player personnel departments and general managers, it ain't going to be the BTN TV copy that gets you what you need. Exos, we've got Huddle. We've got our systems that are a little bit better than the DVR these days.
Chip Patterson, always on Wednesdays. All right. I need a vibe check from you on the Clemson Tigers. Level of concern. We have a concern meter. Highly concerned. Slow start. They'll be okay. Where are you?
Highly concerned if my expectation was for Clemson to be standing on the same field as an Ohio State or a Penn State,
right,
or an Oregon at the end of the season. Highly concerned.
Okay.
Offensive line, run game, and the way that failures by the offensive line and the run game further expose or lead to regressions for the performance of Cade Klubnik. And when all of those things aren't working, it does not matter that they have the best group of wide receivers that they've had since they competed for national titles. Because how in the world are they going to get the ball?
Right.
I mean, we could actually have prime era Sammy Watkins, Nuke Hopkins out there. But if Cade's running for his life and every first and second down run is getting stuffed, there's not much you can do. I still think the defense is excellent.
Yeah.
And I still think that there is a talent advantage over a lot of teams on their schedule. So they'll be okay. As in, I still think they are going to enter their final 2 ACC games very much in the thick of the ACC championship race. Right. But again, as I compare Clemson to the very best teams in the country, and by the way, they played one at home in week 1.
Yes, they did.
They got a lot of work to do to be able to get there.
Yes, Brian Kelly certainly thinks so. My just read on them, because I watched the first half against Troy, and I watched most of the game. I didn't watch the first quarter. I watched when I saw the score, I'm like, what's going on? So I tuned in. They were inept offensively in the first half, totally inept. Defense was let down by the offense. My one fear about the defense is I don't think they cover very well, and they're very front four centric to me. I think they have they have a couple of really good players in the second level, but I think maybe they're just not being, they just haven't really gotten off to great starts, but I think they're very front four centric. But I think in the back end, I think they can be exposed by good teams. LSU definitely exposed them in the pass game. But their offense to me looks, and this is a team that I think went to the national championship game or made the playoffs and lost to Alabama. The third year, Trevor Lawrence, when they had no running game unless he was part of it. I mean, maybe that's what they have to do. Mm-hmm. Simply make Cade Klubnik part of the run game. He's certainly not Trevor Lawrence, but just to make the math work out better for them, because they don't have a running game at all. And although it looked better in the second half against Troy, but it had to against Troy. I was very disappointed.
Great call there. The 2020 Clemson Tigers had to fight their way back to win the ACC. They had sort of had some trip-ups in the middle of the season. DJU had to play for Trevor for a couple of games. Right. Remember, there'd be a bunch of first halves.
Oh, so he played great at Notre Dame in a loss, right?
Played great at Notre Dame in a loss, but they worked their way back. They win the ACC. They make the college football playoff. They show up in the semifinals against Ohio State and just got punked.
Yeah.
And I think that might be a great call out. And you know what the difference is? Trevor Lawrence is worlds better than what we've seen from Cade Klubnik. So, yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure, because I've been a skeptic. I've been from Missouri here. I need him to show me, and he hasn't shown me. I know he had put up great numbers last year, but against really good teams, I just haven't seen good enough Cade Klubnik to really be a believer. I think the ACC...
Oh, you know who has probably some very strong opinions, and I really don't want to put. Listen, I know that he is a huge, huge fan of the Adam Gold Show. So, Mike Krzyzewski, former Duke head coach, Hall of Famer. Mike, I'm sure you can agree with this. Mike Krzyzewski would sometimes get in a corner about faces. Do you remember that? He didn't, when he wouldn't like his team's faces, or he wouldn't like faces. Mike Krzyzewski, I'm assuming, and Mike, please let me know if I'm wrong here. Mike Krzyzewski might not like Cade Klubnik's faces, because sometimes I think that Cade Klubnik looks like eyes get a little big, we're looking around. It is not fair. It is really not fair for me to make that kind of judgment. But when the winningest basketball coach in men's college basketball history is out here talking about faces, I'm going to at least think it matters a little.
Yeah.
And Cade's face grade in my scouts book is not very high.
Eli Manning had the worst faces, but did okay. So maybe, who knows? Maybe for quarterbacks doesn't matter as much, but I'm with you. Cade doesn't always look like it's all flowing. Clemson desperately needs it. Let me ask you this question. Chip Patterson, who joins us every Wednesday here on the Adam Gold Show. Who's better, Florida State or Miami?
I think Miami is more talented. I think Florida State's better coached.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Is this game,
that's not hard.
I think is this game Cristobal free?
Gosh.
No, absolutely. Talk about USF. Like, is this game out of the Cristobal zone? Absolutely not. But do I think that Miami is going to call midnight on USF Cinderella run? Yes. I just think they are a much, much more talented team. And it's like USF has hit so many explosive plays on teams that I don't think you're going to do this against Miami. I don't think USF is going to be able to block Miami.
That's where the line of scrimmage, this is where Miami should own the entire game.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I hope that happens this week, but Florida State this could be like the greatest Dow Jones 3-year run that we have ever seen in the sport. To go from, I'm going to kick out the bowl game against Georgia, which was unfair.
No. We call it 13-1. To go from 13-1
to 2-10
to 2-10. Yep. And then back up again.
I mean, we are, look, I'm older than you. I grew up, Miami, Florida State was the game of the year every year.
Yep.
Every year from the mid-'80s to like the Bowden era, right? Bowden. The guy looked like the Kentucky Fried Chicken guy. Howard Schnellenberger, sorry. Bowden versus Schnellenberger, then Jimmy Johnson, to an extent Dennis Erickson, right? That run against Bowden, those teams, first Saturday in October, every single year delivered. It would miss field goals, incredible plays. We could be looking at that.
October 4th is going to be incredible one way or another because Tallahassee was on fire in week 1 before the game even started.
Right.
And then you got that result. I mean, has been a cathartic release for Florida State fans that basically goes all the way back to Jordan Travis breaking his leg against North Alabama.
I still think they got screwed. I think they completely got screwed by the committee. That team should have still been in the playoff.
But even if they got to the playoff,
they would have.
We saw them in that ACC championship. I know, but I'm just saying that for a fan, when Jordan Travis's leg broke, you knew what was coming. You knew Brock Glenn wasn't going to be able to go out there and give Florida State a fair crack.
Then why'd the committee have him 5th?
I'm talking about the fan experience.
Right, I understand.
Like even before the ACC championship game, you just knew that what that team could accomplish was probably going to be off the table because that team could have won a national championship.
Yes, could have.
So that's where you go back and you think about how awful last year got, 17th place in the ACC. Then you come back and you've got this kind of response.
17th. Yeah.
17th place.
First to 17th.
First ever 17th place. So, and I'm very serious. I don't want to just look at this as I was dogging Mario Cristobal. Right. Gus Malzahn right now is out of his mind. He is so happy because Gus Malzahn is not having to play CEO.
Right.
Gus Malzahn is not having to be the first person in charge of all the different operations and the high school recruiting and he is doing one thing, and that is drawing up crazy football plays.
Yep, they're having a good time.
He doesn't even have to pretend to worry about defense, And also, how about Mike Norvell? That is like such a great statement of his maturity as a coach because Mike Norvell was the play caller.
Right.
And now he's saying like, you know what? I just need to go be the head coach. I'm going to bring in if we want to take this all the way back to when he was calling plays for Auburn, I would say Gus Malzahn's probably one of the top offensive mind play caller types of the last 15 years. You'd put him on a short list.
Yeah. I wonder if Dave Canales is listening to this. All right, I want to ask you one more thing before we have to say goodbye to Chip Patterson. Maybe two, but
does Dave call plays?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why they're always late. You were at the Duke Illinois game. Tell me I'm crazy. I know what the final score was.
For the record, I was not. But
you were okay. But you were following it because we were texting at the beginning of it.
Correct.
Okay. Am I crazy? If Duke doesn't play crazy eights on the first punt return of the second half after stopping Illinois 3-and-out, if they don't play crazy eights there with two guys wearing number 8 on the punt return team, I think they win that game. I thought they were better than Illinois and trailed in the first half.
I think that
dramatic pause.
Yeah, because our conversation was about what good teams do.
Right.
Good teams don't have their best stuff on the road, but they just lean on you. And they just keep not making mistakes because football games are lost more than football games are won.
Right.
And Illinois didn't make a lot of mistakes. They didn't run the ball well. That's
No.
a huge concern moving forward.
Yeah.
But they cashed in when they had opportunities, and Duke didn't.
Yeah.
Duke had a lot of opportunities. That's why I don't think the two players wearing the same jersey. I don't think that some of the stupid penalties. The thing that stands out to me was just Duke did not do a good job when it got good opportunities. And Illinois didn't get many opportunities. Like, Duke fans are right to be so frustrated coming out of that game. But you know what Illinois did with its opportunities?
Yeah.
Cashed them in.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them. By the way, I love Duke's defense is awesome. They are fun to watch.
Great gap sound, fly to the ball. You're not going to move the football against this group. But, yeah, they did not do a good job of taking advantage of opportunities. And Illinois didn't make a lot of mistakes, but when they didn't really have to pay for them.
No.
And so Illinois, on the other hand, cashed in every one of its opportunities, and that's why they end up winning.
All right. Is Brent Pry already putting his house on the market? Is he dragging the Christmas tree out to the front of the driveway on September 10th?
Well, the important thing about the Christmas tree lore is that Jimbo was technically going to somewhere, and unless Brent Pry knows what defensive coordinator jobs are open at this point in time, I don't know if he can at least identify his next location.
You can't look, as much as I know you have affinity for the Vanderbilt program, right? You can't allow 34-0 at Lane Stadium in the second half to get road graded by the last team in the SEC.
Counterpoint, when you are 1-12 in one-score games as a head coach, and it looks like it's going to be close, lose bad.
Okay, good point.
And you're no longer 1-13 in a one-score game.
That is silver lining to the greatest degree.
Here's what I'll give Virginia Tech, and this is something that I like. They were already thin on the offensive line,
right.
And right before the end of the first half, they lose 2 more, so they start the second half basically with their 8th and 9th offensive linemen in the game, and I don't care where you rank Vanderbilt. I would not have them last, but Vanderbilt's defensive front is going to crush the 9th best offensive lineman at a middle of the pack power conference program.
I don't know if they're middle of the pack anymore. It's a shame that it's Virginia Tech. It should be so much better. Chip Patterson, CBSSports.com, Cover 3 podcast moderator. Go check it out. Sir, thank you so much.
Sounds good. Y'all be well.